you doing today, sir?
I couldn't be better.
Yeah, movie's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be one of those movies that's like just going to be a huge hit. Everyone involved is going to be happy. It's one of those magical. You know what I mean?
I'm way too Catholic to accept that, so I'm going to knock on wood. But I hope you're right.
Before I jump into talking about the screenplay and everything else, what do I need to do personally to get you behind the camera directing sooner rather than later?
There's at the end of the day, it all just falls on my shoulders. I tend to be pretty selective when it comes to directing.
Too selective in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. You're not wrong. I mean,
right.
The truth is, I can make my living as a screenwriter, and so I only direct when I can't let it go. When I find something that I can spend 2 years of my life focusing on and that I believe in to that extent, and those things sort of come along once every couple of years, quite honestly.
I heard there might be something coming up with you directing.
No, that's always the plan. I mean, I'm sort of writing my next project, and hopefully when I get the script done, I can convince somebody to let me do it.
I think his name is Simon Kinberg. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay, so as long as you're promising me that next year you'll be directing.
I hope so.
Okay.
There's an element of this that is out of my hands. I've picked a volatile business.
I'm willing to do Kickstarter for you. I really am. Okay,
I appreciate that.
Let's jump into why I get to talk to you today. Obviously, the script on this, everyone I spoke to has been raving about the script. Simon told me your first draft was like one of the best things he's ever written. When you were writing it, were you feeling like, wait a minute, this is just one of those, it's just pouring out of me, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I just loved the book. I loved Andy's book, and when I love the book, it's easy. Because it comes from a place of love, and I've been lucky enough to work on a couple different adaptations, and it was very similar to Daredevil, where I felt like, I love this. So all I have to do is just convince other people to love it as well, and that's easy. So from that point of view, the script did just sort of pour out of me. But the truth is, Andy Weir did all the hard work.
Was there any radical change? Like, I'm just curious about the changes from the book to the script. Were there any things that you're like, I think we should alter this, or could you talk about how much, sticking to the source material, but then you also have to make a movie.
Right. And truthfully, it was just about condensing, because the movie would have been 5 hours long if we just shot everything in the book. So part of it is you just pick and choose sort of what are the things that we need to tell the story, and what are the things that sadly we have to leave on the cutting room floor. And I think we did a good job. There's stuff that I'm still sad that I love that's in the book that's not in the movie, but you have to make these decisions when you're adapting something.
Ridley said there's a number of deleted scenes, one of which that he loves is when Matt is on the journey.
Yeah.
And he's explaining how he doesn't have like bed sores and going to the bathroom and stuff like that. Did you see a longer version of the movie in the editing room?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, I saw the extended cut, and this is the way first cuts are. They're always too long. You sort of cut and pick and choose and try to get the pacing right, and it's not an exact science. The
thing I've learned about Ridley, though, is he's one of these rare filmmakers that always has an extended cut or a director's cut. Kingdom of Heaven is a radically different movie as the director's cut, far superior.
Yeah, I know.
It's a different movie and it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And he has many different versions of Blade Runner. He has longer cuts of so many of his films.
Yes.
Have you been sort of behind the scenes being like, hey, Ridley, we can do a longer cut of this one?
Not really. I think this is the best version of the movie that we're putting out there. I really do. I think that there are fun scenes that people will enjoy seeing, as sort of bonus material. But I would be surprised if Ridley I think anything that Ridley loved is in the movie. Like that he felt, he's sort of at this place in his career where he gets to just do what he wants.
Sure.
and so I don't think there's anything that should be in the movie that isn't. I think there's fun stuff to look at, but this is the best version.
How much are you script doctoring and working on projects that we all don't hear about?
It's not a lot of script doctoring. I mean, I think I do a lot of, people ask me to watch their movies a lot and just give my thoughts, which I am always happy to do. But script doctoring, I don't really enjoy that. I tend to because it implies that something needs to be fixed. And I tend to like to let the artists do their thing, just because I like to do my thing as an artist. So usually what happens is people just ask me for my opinion and I give it. And then sometimes this gets blown out of proportion.
Obviously, Daredevil, congratulations on getting that show off the ground. So well done.
Thank you.
I know that you were very close on a Spider-Man project.
Yeah.
I know you're a comic book guy.
Yeah.
What is the comic book property that you are? When I met with Feige, I was basically begging him to work something out with you, and like I don't know if like there was any animosity with leaving Daredevil. Like, is it basically what do I need to do to get you into a Marvel movie?
I mean, I'm
as
still,
a fan.
Look, I love Marvel. I still work with them. I was in the writers' room of season 2, a couple weeks ago. Like, it's going. Like, it's not. I think this sort of got portrayed as this animosity. It's not. It's never been the case. Like. They know I love their properties. They've been very nice to me. We just keep trying to find the right fit. For me, it's all about how do I make it personal? Like with Matt Murdock, I just had such a personal connection to that character growing up that it was just like, I have to do this. And I don't want to just be a guy that just, I call it superhero karaoke. I don't want to be a guy that just takes the comics and then shoots them on screen. I feel like it's our job to treat it as though it's our run, Like I'm the writer of a comic book. You wouldn't just retell someone else's story. You would just take that ball and move it forward.
Sure. I think, and I'll be honest, as a fan of yours and of Daredevil, I didn't know you were involved in any more with Daredevil.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, to me, this is news, and that's awesome news.
Oh, yeah.
So, how involved were you in season 2?
My job is wonderful, which is, my friends are running it, Marco and Doug. And when I say, what do you guys need? They say, come in, talk. Like, that's how it works. I'm just I'm still the executive producer. I show up and we talk about Matt Murdock, and then I say, do you need any more help? And they say no, and I leave.
Because what's interesting is, so they're still in the writing process of season 2.
They are.
Which is.
But we're shooting as well.
No,
Yeah.
I'm well aware that it's that Luke Cage, Jessica,
Yes.
everything. It's all happening. Do you see yourself being involved with like Defenders or any of the other stuff?
I'm always there when they want to talk about it, because this is what I do in my spare time anyway, is sit around and talk about Daredevil. So if it counts as a job, I'm always ready to do it,
You sort of won the lottery.
I really have. You're not going to hear me complain.
Right, I was going to be
very
like that.
lucky man.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Are you someone who has a bunch of scripts sitting in the desk that you're waiting to do, or
No. I look, for better or worse, I've had a pretty good batting average. Stuff I get it tends to get made, or I move on. Like, I've learned that the things I thought were interesting 7 years ago, I don't really find interesting anymore. You just grow and evolve as a person. So I try to just keep doing new things.
I want to jump back to Daredevil for 1 second because I'm a huge fan of the comics. And obviously this season it's Daredevil and Punisher. It's like the shit that I've dreamt about since I was a little kid. So, and I know you love Daredevil. So how much have you been able to geek out, and have you been sort of mentioning, what would be awesome is if we see, Frank and doing this, you know what I mean? Like,
I do know what you mean. I can't really say too much because I'm not even sure. You're always worried that Marvel's got guns trained on you if you reveal too much. So, but I will say that it has been a joy to talk about season 2, and I think fans are going to be really excited.
Sure. What are you right now, when you're not working on Daredevil, writing, besides the one you're directing? Is it one of these things
That's
where...
it.
Oh, I was going to say, can you work on multiple things at the same time?
I can. I don't enjoy it. I've sort of learned I'm much happier to just focus on one project at a time. It tends to get too muddied, So I'm sort of at a place in my life where I just work on one thing as best I can.
I know you don't want to talk too much about your next project, but I'm going to ask you 2 things. 1, does it have a title? And 2, does it have a genre?
No. It doesn't have a title, and like everything I do, I don't even know what the genre is. I'm not sure. Like, I couldn't tell you what genre Cabin in the Woods is. Is it horror? Is it comedy? I don't know.
I would say it's just a kick-ass movie.
Thank you. So maybe it's that genre. Your words, not mine. I just try to make kick-ass movies.
Okay, I'm going to leave it there and say I loved Martian. I'm so happy with your work on it. But whatever I need to do to get you directing again, I really will do it. So just please let me know what I have to do.
I'm going to call you in on that.
I'm not fucking around. Let me hit stop and say congratulations.